we got a flat. First, we'll show you how to fix it with the AGM Manual Jack Pro. Then we'll show you everything you need to know to lift your Can-Am Defender with this jack. Let's get into it. Now, the Defender uses a 10mm stud. So what that means for you and me is it's a 17mm socket to pull the lug nuts off. So we'll switch to that. Get these lugs off the car. Now you noticed I grabbed all the lugs. What I'm trying to do is keep those from falling in the dirt. If one does fall in the dirt, not a big deal. Pick that guy up, knock it out, blow it out, make sure all the debris is gone. What we don't want to do is have any dirt left over in here when we put this back on the stud. That could damage your stud and create all kinds of problems. So now that we got these, we'll put them somewhere safe. We'll get this tire off and get a new one on. Okay, with our new tire, we'll throw this on and then we're going to start all of the lug nuts by hand. The reason we're doing that is we want to make sure that we don't cross thread any of them. It's a super bad day, not one you even want to get involved with. So once these are on, we are going to use the impact to snug these down, and we're going to do that in a cross pattern. That way we make sure that we tighten the wheel flush against the rotor. On some cars, there is a tendency, or I should say it is possible if you tighten in a circle that you could tighten the wheel without it being fully flush to the rotor. You wouldn't know that, everything would tighten up just fine. You'd go drive down the road. That wheel over time would center up or square up, and then it would become loose. Those lugs would fall off, and so would the wheel. So cross pattern for the win. Now, at this point, if you have a torque wrench, drop the jack down just enough so that the wheel touches the ground, and then torque this to manufacturer spec. We don't have one today, so what we're going to do is take the impact again. We'll go around one more time to make sure this is tight. All right, with that done, we can switch back to our 3/4 socket and lower the jack. All right, get back on the trail. We'll start with the rear lift, but first, let's grab the jack out of the go bag. The hook and our impact. Now on the Defender, because it is a low travel car, there's not a lot of suspension drop from ride height. We can do all of our lifting here along the side of the car on the frame rail, which is about 2 inches in from the edge. You'll notice that there's a little bump in the skid plate. That's how you'll be able to locate it. So what we want to do is take and adjust our jack height so it just gets to the bottom of that skid. We're going to stick the bottom of the jack in a little bit further than the top of the jack. And what that does is we're starting at this angle with the bottom of the jack in more directly under the load, so that as we pick, the jack's going to stand up vertical, creating a nice stable platform for us. If we don't do this, we start with the bottom of the jack out in relation to the car. As we lift, the jack is going to be at a steeper angle, not as safe, higher chance that this can slide off. So do yourself a favor, bottom of the jack in under the car. We're going to get our 2 points of contact, one with the jack pad, the other with the jack body against the car. And now we can lift. There you go. Tire is off the ground and ready for repair. For the front lift, we'll also be picking up off the frame rail, that roughly 2 inches in where the bump is. Now, if you do have a door, you'll want to open the door as well. We'll get into the lift. Looks like we need to adjust this a bit. Just like in the rear, we're going to position the bottom of the jack in a little bit more than the top of the jack. That way we're more in line with the lift. As we come up, we're going to look for our 2 points of contact on the pad and then the body of the jack against the car. Now, if something like this does happen where one part of the ground is harder than the rest of the ground, no big deal. We'll lower the jack back down. And we're just gonna take and rotate the collar 90 degrees. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna change which direction the pivot goes. So now the jack pad cannot pivot into that softer section. It's gonna force load down onto the harder part of the dirt. We can still get a little bit underneath there, and we'll lift again. Now, if your battery dies, because you've done 300 lifts already, you may need to swap it. Now that we have a fresh battery, we can continue. There you go. Tires off the ground and ready for repair. Before you go, 2 quick tips. 1, if your car is drivable, try to get that off the trail and parked on a flat surface with no rocks or debris if possible. It's safer for you because then you won't get hit, and it's a lot easier to work on the car if you're not having to fight debris. Tip 2, if you have an ice chest or a toolbox or a spare tire, or you can find rocks or logs laying around, slide one of those bad boys under the car. It acts as a second point of contact. That way, if God forbid something happens and the car falls off the jack, it'll catch the car so it doesn't drop all the way to the ground, saving you time and hopefully making everything a little bit safer. And that being said, today's video had one goal, and that was to show you everything you need to know to lift your Can-Am Defender quickly and safely. Because how you lift it matters. I'm Bryan with AGM. Thanks for watching this episode of How You Lift It, and we'll see you next time.